As I mentioned in yesterday's video, this hunt is basically our last chance at a Great One Red Deer for at least a couple of days until the weekend. We've got those kind of traditional videos we do for Thanksgiving coming up, and until those are all passed, this is essentially it. And we started about a week and a half ago with 12 rounds. I bought all those after going through another 1200 or so initially starting the grind. And we're down to 24 30-6 rounds remaining. So just a little 12 times 2 action to try to entice the Great One gods to spawn one in. And I'm planning on just using up all 24 on this hunt. We'll get as many stags as we can. And all I can say is the same thing I've continued to say. Hopefully today's the day. And finally, our first red stag of this hunt. And it gave us a new zone, which is always interesting, but things move around as these grinds go on, so that's not too surprising. But we've actually gotten through these two lakes in the southeast and this little one without finding any red stags, so things are definitely changing. And that could be a good thing. It's just going to depend. Got another one over there, and pretty much par for the course for most of these hunts. 5s and 6s are primarily what we see. But hopefully that's going to be a long shot that was a little bit low. We see he's dropping, so that'll be 2 down. This is the second hunt in a row. It started off with a red stag calling. What you would think is one on its way into the zone, and it's about the same time. It's 5:46 this time. I think 5:40 was the time in the last one. And there he is, just kind of trotting over the hill. Funny enough, the last one was a 4-2. Not really sure what to make of that, but that's 3 now at this lake. I guess in the end, things just kind of balance themselves out. I mean, we had no stags at the first couple. This is a lake that often will spawn, sometimes none, but usually 1. And now we have 3, and actually we haven't gotten to look back towards where the tripod was. Sometimes there's one right there by the tent. Not seen any in this instance, which is fine by me. We've done enough circles run around this lake in the past trying to claim everything when that does happen. But our technically first stag, but it's going to be the third one we claim, should be laying just up here ahead of us. Got a little bit of blood trailing left to do, but I guess it would have been a 4, 5, and a 6. Hopefully there's going to be just continued kind of increasing levels as we go along, and maybe we'll see a level 10 by the end, but it actually kind of went in that opposite order, so hopefully that doesn't continue. Man, I'm pretty sure we're still kind of going along that trend, although it is going to probably break after this one. I've got a 180 to 210 kg track estimate right ahead of us, and that hard shot will help things kind of speed along, but I'm going to assume that this stag that left this track is either maybe fleeing, or potentially not even spawned in if it was too close to the tent, but either way I'd like to get it, and hopefully it won't be too big a deal. For the moment, one of the less even level 7s I've ever seen. If we ever had a rare level 7 that looked like that, I would be a little bit frustrated. Those just simply do not match, but these tracks aren't making a lot of sense. They kind of just end right there. And when that happens, a lot of times that means you spawned too close to the animal, but in this case we could just look and see. The tent's almost 300 meters away, so I don't know if maybe he's actually drinking at a different lake. Again, we know he's not that big. It just would be nice to get the respawn, but I don't think we're going to spend too much time on what is at best a small gold. And either way now, our little trend is going to break with another level 6, and I guess at least it's that and not a 4 or a 5. So this is a lake that tends to spawn multiple stags pretty much every time without fail, and to this point, as he's kind of working around, I only see the one, and I think we had the misfortune of him falling into the water, so guess we'll kind of hang around. Maybe we'll run around and look for tracks. You never know, and this is one of those situations, like, there's always 2 stags there. We kind of just go to the tripod, shoot them, claim them, and move on. This was the lake where we had our melanistic, and he was down in that area, so there are other places along here stags can spawn, and it wouldn't shock me if we were missing them. So since we are forced to wait, we'll kind of explore around and make sure there's nothing that's been kind of waiting on us. I'd call it a good use of our time anyway, since we were forced to wait here, but no sign of anything. And actually, kind of a cool thing about this grind now, I said our melanistic was at this lake. It was one of our 2 melanistics, as we shot one in the last video as well. I think it was one of these 2 lakes. I'm actually not even sure which it was, but that might be where we're headed next. Guess we have to make a stop here first just to kind of make sense of things. We'll see if maybe anything good has come from that pretty soon. For now though, another level 5, which I don't think is attentive because of us. There are wolves that pretty consistently just kind of stay right up in here, and I'm guessing they were starting to alert him, so probably good it was a lower level and made it easier to, I guess, have a bit more time to get that shot off, and heart shot will speed up the process. I would call that pretty good evidence of the wolves, by the way, although I don't know exactly where it came from. It's still just trying to run in circles, but maybe if we claim our red deer and get out of here, it will leave us alone. You know, stags of any kind are always a good sign on this grind, because ultimately it is a numbers game at the end of the day, but one that's way back there in the brush, and really tough to get a shot at, is maybe not the ideal thing, especially when it's going to be a long run to go and claim it, but it kind of is similar to that last spot where we had the stag floating over. A lot of times we don't run all the way over, and there we go. It is just a level 5, but there was another one that, who knows how long it's been here, that we often don't get 200 meters plus away from to where it would actually spawn in, so there could be even more like that. Maybe a chance that there's some over on this side, but that's 2 now at this lake. We can't seem to stay away from these things today, but fortunately, our stag is down right here, so we should be able to fast travel away and probably be safe. I think it was during a stream. We fast traveled and stayed within render of wolves, and I'm pretty sure they followed us all the way over the tent, but even still, I think there is only the one. We should be able to go grab the other stag and get out of here. Kinda hard to say if that wolf is trying to track us down, but in honestly either circumstance, whether it's trying to avoid a wolf or just be efficient on our red deer grind, we have places to be, so we will stay out of its path. And just a continued trend of lower level stags, but it was a mating call that got my attention to come over here, and unfortunately when he's so close to spooking, there was no point in trying to really dial in and go for a heart shot there. There actually was another stag, and unfortunately another level 5, and this is where ammo can really dissipate. Did that not hit him? I'm actually not sure how it didn't hit him. And unfortunately, he just turned away from that shot as well. I tried to go for a neck shot. I don't understand how the first shot didn't at least hit him like in the liver. I don't want to waste much more ammo, especially on a smaller stag, but I would have thought that first shot would have got him. We did get the one anyway. That one was a perfectly fine double lung shot, but no hunting pressure is appearing. That pretty well confirms that we didn't hit him at all. I might slow that down in slow motion and try to see, because I felt like 0 per 75, there was no way that that would have completely missed. Well, I think I might know where our bigger stags were hiding. We've got 2 max wood estimate ones, a level 7 and a level 8, basically side by side here on the hill at the back. I wanted to go for a heart shot there, but a lot of times when they kind of start their drinking animation, it makes it tough. You kind of shoot through more of the neck muscle and stuff, and don't quite get the penetration to reach into the heart, and at least we can get a lung from that, but alerted our mythical, a little farther shot, and man, that was really pushing to the right, a little farther than I wanted. I'm hoping to see his health start to drop, but I don't think we got a vital there. We need to be a little more in the center. He may well offer another shot. I don't know where he's going to try to go here. There's not a lot of options for him, but I'm tempted to try to hit him again just to make sure that we can get him down, because that's not going to kill him. Maybe he'll eventually come back here nervous. That's unfortunate that that shot didn't work out. It's looking like, unfortunately, we are gonna have to go on a little track here. Got that guy just fine, and maybe had he not started to lean down the drink, that would have been a hard shot. Good looking stag. And before we head off, despite the fact that we just messed up a shot around this range, we're going to go ahead and try to hit this level 6 just to get him down. I'm not really sure if we're going to end up running near him potentially to track down our mythical, so rather than risk spooking him at all, might as well get him down and then get on the track. I don't think the mythical was coming back to the zone, and hard to say exactly what he is going to do, but I hope we can find him. Well, that answers my question. He's just kind of walking down here along the shoreline. Now hopefully a better shot will do the job. Now we may well have shot him in the spinal cord. He was about 220 meters, so I wanted to keep that shot high enough that it didn't go under the lungs. Maybe that was a little too high, but I would think, especially at the angle because we were above him, it should have gotten like the top of the far side lung. It does look to be vital blood, so I think we got away with it. And just for the heck of it, we had a level 7 in the last video, where I was kind of curious about the true score and like how it all works, where basically ones like this can score anywhere from low 200s all the way up to like the 250s. Like the small rack level 9s look very similar to this, and I just wanted to basically have the true score screenshotted so I can go back and understand the difference, but that was a double lung shot. Fortunately all that worked out, and I do wonder, like if this level 6 wasn't over here, which actually I think we ran past it, would we have ever looked back down there and spotted the 8 just walking along there kind of nervous? I'm guessing we wouldn't have, so that really worked out. And with 9 rounds remaining, we've got our level 6 in our last stag for this lake, and we can continue on to a couple more, and we're going to have to be a bit selective, because there's some spots where, no doubt, we could use more rounds than we have, so we'll have to choose carefully. We might need to do a little bit of investigating here. I had a max weight estimate track on the other end of the lake, and I never did know, like, I get tracks over there fairly often, and I'm not sure if it's these stags that leave the tracks, or maybe ones that drink elsewhere, but there was actually even a third herd of red deer right behind us, and I guess maybe wolves spooked them, or for some reason they just ran through when they normally don't. Now I'm hoping they are maybe going to slow down and go nervous. I think there's one more stag right in there, and I can't tell how big he is, but there's no way he's anything very special because we would of course see antlers sticking up above the brush, so now he's getting pushed around a little. That may help us to get a shot off, but not going to help in terms of where we just were standing. That guy is officially nervous, so let's go ahead and try to get a shot in past the brush. Should be enough to bring him down. Unfortunately, these ones are far away, so that is definitely the stag. When the hind's head is down and his head is up, there should be an opportunity in towards his vitals there. Just need to time it and aim it correctly. Looks like we got the heart. And now with 5 rounds remaining, we should have all the stags back in this corner, and none were that 210 to 240 range, so there must be another drink zone like somewhere along here. I don't know where the tracks were kind of going this way, but I can almost see all the way over to this end from where we had them, so I don't know where it would be. As quickly as we can, we're going to gather things up here. We had a level 5 that we heart shot there, kind of blind through the brush. A level 6 that had kind of run right behind us at the tent when we fast traveled. And like I said, there must have been wolves or something that pushed them across, because fast traveling to there usually doesn't do anything. But then finally our 2 stags from over on this side, and again, a couple of lower levels. I think they may both have been level 6s. Maybe a 5 and a 6. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. And what I guess we're going to do is just kind of run down across here. Now I had this red deer zone like from our nighttime hunt. I can't imagine where else they would drink, like they've got to be along here, especially if they left tracks. And the good news is we have that tent down on the other side, so should we spook them across here, we can fast travel in front of them and try to cut them off. I just don't get where they'd be. I would have thought they would have been visible. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. There's actually a 5 down there too, but he was a mythical with one of the less common racks you'll see. It's like a super wide, kind of branchy looking rack. I don't know how far that is, but going to assume a shot like that will be a lung hit. And it is going to bring him down, so we can hit the 5-2. That might have been pushing it as too high. Guess that's going to bring him down. So I wonder how long, because I've picked up that track before, and then I've shot like mythicals back at this end, so I assumed they were the same deer. They've just been drinking down at this end the entire time, and I've been spawning on top of them and not known it. And again, that's why, like, going back to the beginning of the video, when that stag was floating across and we had time to run around and confirm that wasn't happening, that's why it's important. It could have easily been the case where maybe their tracks weren't somewhere I would have picked them up, and it could have been a diamond, it could have been a rare, just waiting there to be shot and never being in view. But fortunately, we finally got that guy, and now we know to check that spot. I really do like this rack. I think it's one that maybe is trying to kind of, I don't know, simulate the original legacy, like mythical and small legendary rack. I just like how branchy and wide it is. But then we got our level 5 as well. 367 meters, we were almost too high. Fortunately, he was as far as he was, and a bit further forward it might have been an issue, but lucked out there. If there's one silver lining to being in an area with so many red deer and so many stags, with only 3 rounds remaining, it's that we cannot possibly delete the zones. So I think the way that we're going to approach this is probably try to shoot the 2 that are side by side here. We're gonna have to scoot in a little bit closer. I'm trying to make sure that we stay over 200 meters from the ones on the right, just to ensure they're not going to spook. So gotta time this properly with the front one having his head down, just so we don't accidentally headshot him. That should get the back one. That's a little far back, but it actually should be good to get the front one. Probably, I'm going to guess, like liver, stomach, intestine, or something like that. And I'm not sure if it's a matter of the zones basically ending, or possibly them being alert due to the shots. But we alarmed our 6 there. We just need to get to spot him. I'm sure he's going to give us like a broadside shot or something. He may have in fact already turned around and is facing us, but there is no shot opportunity in through there. So there's the 4. He actually went back to drinking, oddly enough. There is the 6. As long as he'll stand still, we can throw another kind of too far back shot in there. Probably liver again. And that is it for our 1,212 rounds that we bought. I think it was like Sunday, November 14th or something like that. Something like 10 days ago. We bought all those rounds, and we've now gotten through all of them with, I'm actually not sure what the total count of diamonds and rares would be. The highlight kill, no doubt, was the Melanistic level 6 in yesterday's video, and we went through, I think, 22 stags today. We had 1 or 2 misses and maybe it was 21 stags. 2 misses and 1 that we had to shoot twice. That's definitely a lot of red deer down for a quick run through, and hopefully progress towards that ultimate goal. So one last bit of running around and claiming to do. Our level 6 was a 165, and it's kind of similar to the gold rack, but I think he's missing maybe a couple of splits off of this tine or somewhere in that area. I think the golds have a couple of additional tines. And it was lung, liver, stomach, and I'm guessing the same was the case on that level 4. But yeah, like I said, over 20 stacks today. We were able to cover at least most of the map that I wanted to. Obviously, as we got kind of low on rounds, we had to pick and choose our last couple of lakes. But it kind of worked out, and I think the biggest kind of win for today was realizing where that level 8 was. And I do believe our first diamond of this run, it was like a wonky one that we basically chased all the way into, was it these fields? From there. He was probably drinking in that same zone, and it was a weird thing where I like ran down probably the southern kind of bank of that lake there, and just spooked him and saw him running through the trees, and I bet it was in that same spot, and I just simply never check it. So maybe an opportunity to adapt our setup and make something a little bit better to check that area. And it's always good to kind of discover new ones, even as we are over 2,000 kills into this grind. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.